Attention requires energy to be not dissipated. Thought is energy, and thought, when it is engaging in places where it's not needed, it dissipates energy. We can remain with attention only when energy is not dissipated like that. So, thought, when it is put in its right place, which is things that are for functional in or for things that are functional in nature, things that are practical, all of that requires thought. But when we engage in thinking, which is unrelated to matters that are transactional or functional, then we are engaging in unnecessary thinking, which is dissipating energy. That's why we feel tired sometimes without doing anything, because the mind is exhausted by constantly dissipating energy. When we remain without that dissipation, by recognizing that thought has no role to play in the so called psychological realm, because the very psyche is only an imagination. We project a false sense of self as psyche for ourselves and for others, and then we think about it, build stories around it, and imagine that it is traveling through time and build a narrative. So, if you are aware of this, that this very narrative is what's constantly dissipating energy. This moment is complete in and of itself when there is full attention. Whatever rises is what is, and that rising is divine. But when there is a movement away from this moment, whether it's as a desire or a fear, or whether it is worry or projection, any movement away from this moment is energy that is getting dissipated due to unnecessary thinking. So, we sometimes do everything right physically, let's say. We may eat healthy, we may exercise, but then if the mind is constantly worrying, anxious, all of this, then that's actually affecting much more deeply than physical activities, because that's dissipating energy. Thought being energy, it it drains when it's engaged in unnecessary ways. So when we recognize that thought has no place to play in realms which are outside of what is functional, then energy is not dissipated. We simply remain with full attention to what is. So whenever it rises, we can recognize it then. If it rises, if thought rises with some narrative about the past or about the future and about the imaginary self of oneself or of others, all of this we can recognize instantly when it rises if we are alert. And if we see the danger in it, that is to say, the way it affects us, just as we wouldn't put junk food in our mouth, we wouldn't take this, we would instantly drop it. We would not consume the junk that comes up. And when we instantly see it and drop it, then there is only full attention to this moment where there is nobody attending, there is just attention. So when we are in this way fully present, then anything that rises is seen. And the very seeing again dissolves it. So when we come and sit in satsang, we can take this opportunity to gather our energy and not dissipate it, but just sit silently, but also look at what's rising, and if something rises, instantly dissolve it. If there is any question that is bothering, of course, we can share it, we can discuss it, but all of that can be done without any sense of image making and building a narrative of any kind. Then we can go about the whole day in the same way without a single movement of thought beyond what is practically necessary, which happens anyway on its own. It's actually a beautiful thing to sit when there is no movement of thought whatsoever, and there is just total alert attention. And in that alert attention, activities can then happen. Whatever actions happen meditatively. To come upon that silence is meditation. That silence is always here and now when we don't make it a goal to attain, or when we don't make it as some kind of a practice, but just instantly not have any movement and just be silent, just remain still by just seeing the toxicity of movement itself, of thought movement, which is building the sense of the false self, is toxic. And if we see the danger of it, just like we will see a snake coming, we will just instantly step away and there is just silence. We don't have to then have any separate practice or anything, just the seeing with clarity of the toxic nature of thinking in the psychological realm is enough to be free of it. And when we see it, we are free of it.